many overloads, but
This is a curve from Fake. That's gonna
yeah,
put a lot of pressure on reynad.
not so much from reynad though. Reynad's curve is completely thrown off. Fake has been getting amazing dream openers since the beginning of this series, so this is really, really solid again for his shaman. The power mace can be put out first for the harvest golem to make sure that when it does come out, it will be a 4/5.
Yeah. But then I think you still keep the coin, you play the creeper, then you play the power mace, then you play the golem. I like
Yeah.
keeping it, but maybe that's
Or
too greedy.
Fire
But
Elemental on turn 4, on turn 5 is, definitely strong. He's pretty much curving perfectly. I don't think there's a rush to getting the Harvest Golem or the Power Mace out right now. The Haunted Creeper does as well. If you find Flame Tongue, it's also enhanced by that.
Now, I'm quite surprised that, because yesterday we haven't seen any Lightning Bolt or any Lava Burst in Fake stack, but he's running double Ash Drake, so he has the spell power, but no spells to beneficiate from it, apart from the Lightning Storm, which is pretty good.
Yeah, we saw
So,
Lightning Storm as a really good, AoE, board removal. But there's no other overload, not even Feral Spirits, which is one of the cards that a lot of Shaman used to consider a staple. It's a card that has been sometimes phased out in the past, and I'm surprised to see that this metagame cycle seems to be happening again.
yeah, it's interesting. And Reynad does run the Black Knight, so Fake's gonna have confirmation of this later on if Reynad ends up playing it, which is gonna be it's very good for him to know this for if he ends up losing this game and has to go for the Druid Mirror next game.
Yeah, I'm not sure about... I mean, Druid Mirror match is going to have to be played if Reynad wins this. I mean, his initial curve was pretty mediocre, but looking at this hand right now, I feel like Reynad's ability to come back is... I mean, he can Keeper of the Grove, let's say the 2/2. Keep the Shade stealthed for as long as he wants. That's not something Fake can really handle. Outside of a Sylvanas coming out or a Lightning Storm rolling high in the very, very near future, or such high pressure that Reynad has to unstealth it, then I think this is going to allow Reynad to transition pretty well into his mid-late. And unless big taunts come from Fake, beyond, like double Sludge Belcher, negating the first Black Knight, or I mean the Black Knight, then maybe Fake's going to be able to stabilize, but Reynad's mid-game is just looking incredibly strong.
Yeah, and this Shade has no reason to come out now. It would trade extremely unfavorably, so...
Yeah, this is not a turn to play it.
Yeah. Goes for the Pilot Shredder.
Just as good, but I feel like you're weak to the Rockbiter plays, but you're 2-for-1ing at this point, which is also not too bad. Oh, that's another avenue of play.
This can help a lot, but
you sacrifice so you buff the Golem and the Chow. You sacrifice the Chow, you kill whatever comes out of this. I think in worst case scenario, it would have to be a Millhouse, in which case you still can kill it by committing a lot. But most of the time, you should be able to just hit it once and be done with it.
yeah, it's highly unlikely that the Golem can't trade favorably with what comes out of the Shredder.
Exactly. I mean, as a 3/4, that will deal with most of the things. 2 drops, like the biggest 2-drop that exists is Millhouse Manstorm, and then Succubus as a follow-up. There is the one-eyed cheat with 4 attack, but the Haunted Creeper can deal with that very effectively if necessary.
Yeah, good point. The Power Mace didn't seem too bad either, but going on curve is pretty important.
Alright, this is arguably one of the best outcomes for Fake. 1 attack. Better than that Peggle even in this case, because he didn't have to commit the Spider's attack to it.
Where shall I strike?
So there's a Druid of the Claw, pretty solid, but then... Oh. Does Flame Tongue actually matter in this case? Or do you just Power Mace and then coin the Golem?
I feel like Power Mace and coining Golem is slightly better because but then again, yeah, because if your second Golem dies, then you're going to be able to buff it up afterwards. And if the first Golem is not dealt with either, then it also protects your spiders. He has to pop the spiders before swiping it. So in many ways, I guess that deals with it. Flame Tongue Totem is very vulnerable, and you're trading away so much of your board at once that you can't protect it very effectively. But we'll see what Fake ends up doing. I mean, it's
Yeah.
one of those situations. I feel like Shaman just has many options, and
Hmm.
only one of them is really interesting from his perspective.
Hmm. And I. Okay,
All
so
right.
he goes for the Flame Tongue play.
Oh, is this a Flame Tongue Power Mace turn? Oh wow, I'm loving this. This is such a strong play from Fake.
Oh right, that's an excellent play. I didn't see that.
Yeah, and you know what? It's even better than what we considered, just because he's
Hmm.
guaranteed to get the Harvest Golem value next turn, regardless of what happens here. And
Yeah,
Reynad
this
needs to
is.
have Wraths, Keepers of the Grove.
Hmm. And Reynan might actually overcommit to killing this Golem because he doesn't want Fake to get Power Mace value. But because he doesn't know that Fake can actually play just another Golem next turn and get that value.
Yeah, but I mean, it's a pretty decent Black Knight turn. The only other taunt you're gonna remove is Sludge Belcher at this point. I mean, Alakir perhaps in the late game, but generally Alakir nowadays is played much like the older Doomhammer, which you play when you're about to get the combo off. So,
Yeah, and now is a good time to show the shade. Do you, as Fake though, do you hex this shade just for
I think
the tempo?
you attack the Black Knight, then you play your Harvest Golem, then you attack the
Mhm.
Black Knight with your Power Mace, then you hex the Shade and kill it with the Spider.
Mhm.
It gives you a
Well,
4/5 with taunt and
yeah, you gotta suicide this damage golem first, so you make sure
yes,
you don't buff
exactly.
it.
Yep, you attack
And
first with a 2/1.
yeah, that's a complete board clear. You have a 4/5 harvest golem and a full HP creeper. Your opponent has nothing.
Yep.
Seems pretty good.
Yeah, I'm really liking this line of play from the Shaman. It gives him the ability to remove the board and secure an advantage, which really the best way for Shaman to win in multiple matchups is to maintain a board. It doesn't even have to be a massive one, just big enough that whenever he finds a good tempo spell, that gets snowballed out of control as well.
Well,
He went
without
for a
this Rockbiter
completely
top deck,
different
I
match.
didn't
Yeah.
agree with.
Yeah, without the Rockbiter top deck, I feel like this was an excessively weak turn.
Yeah.
Going for the Drake instead of the Golem. But
Yeah,
in this
Urshok
specific
not even
circumstance,
that
and
good.
I can't argue this. It's working. I just feel like you're so open to swipe. It's not even good.
Yeah,
He
Reyna can
wants to keep
swipe.
his hex. He wants to keep his hex. That's all I understand from this.
I
He
feel
gets
like
the
this was
initiative again.
this. No, I
He
really,
does
I
get
really
the
don't.
initiative.
Yeah, I really don't like last turn's play. If he didn't get Urshok or Rockbiter last turn, he would have got crushed um by the shade.
Yeah, I think he was hoping for a top deck at that point, or forcing Reynad to be very effective with his cards afterwards, putting Reynad on a forced swipe. I just feel like the odds of the play backfiring were too high. At this amount of
Yeah,
mana, combinations of plays can achieve a very similar result.
yeah,
It's not
and
even
it's
just
not
a
like
swipe.
having the 4/5 Golem was actually pretty strong as well,
Yeah,
even though
you've
you
seen with
lose the
Black
hex.
Knight,
But
so you
like,
don't even...
and since Reynak plays double combo, you don't expect him to have huge cards like Ragnaros or you know, he's gonna have Doctor Boom, but this shade was about to grow anyways, so
Yeah.
he basically hex a 6/6 because it was already 5/5.
But maybe he's expecting, the Doctor Boom, and he wants to make sure that he finds either BGH or Hex, because, I mean, Reynad is on 7 mana, which is usually a turn where when Doctor Boom happens, and if you don't have your Lightning Storm, then
So
maybe you're
that
going to get
does
punished a bit harsher.
fake hex his 1/1 here? Otherwise he's dead to combo.
Yeah, he is
That,
dead to combo at the moment.
so he either hexes his own 1/1 or gambles on the fact that Reynad doesn't have combo. But he knows that Reynad runs too, so extremely
Yeah,
unlikely.
he's going to try, and this is a good game. Reynad's going to be able to take another game here from Fake with a Druid. Is it going to be a complete reverse sweep? He went from 2-0.
Yeah, we're gonna have a
From
game 5.
2-2.
This is pretty exciting.
All right, so another Force of Nature Savage Roar win for Reynad. I mean, very strong combo. No, no argument about that. I think that's a pretty standard, accepted definition of what that is. So Reynad takes another game from Fake, and from 2-0, Fake goes 2-2. And honestly, this is not something you're very happy about. You felt very confident about your